The Alberta government tabling Budget 2026 Thursday afternoon with an increase to the province's debt, running a deficit of $9.4 billion. We bring in Moshe, an economist with Concordia University and Alberta resident, to break this all down. Now, Moshe, what are some things that stick out for you?
Well, it's the $9.4 billion that stands out more than anything else. This is a government that's committed itself to trying to find a way to balance the budget. And instead, what they've done is they've run an even bigger deficit than the year before. It's almost doubled in size. When you have revenues of $74 billion and a deficit of $9-point-something billion, that's over 10%. By way of analogy, could you imagine if individuals were spending 10% more than their income? That's unbelievably a large amount of fiscal irresponsibility for a government that prides itself on knowing how to steward the economy.
Something else, of course, is education. The province committing to hire 1,600 new teachers, 800 support staff. The Teachers Association president actually calling this investment historic.
Yeah, and it's great for teachers, but I seem to recall that there were some protests in the last 12 months and forcing teachers back to work and not negotiating with teachers over salary demands. And here they are saying now we're investing in education. Again, it's one of those things that they say one thing and they do another. And that seems to be a broad pattern for this government. It is good that they're spending on education. It is something that I don't think you're going to find a lot of people are disappointed in. But of course, always the issue is you can spend those $10 billion over the next few years, but how are you going to finance it? And if we have them standing up in the legislature saying we have no plans to increase taxes, then if you want that deficit to go away, you're going to have to find $10 billion of spending cuts somewhere else. But I didn't hear anything about cuts coming, not that I'm expecting it, but again, it doesn't seem to make sense that they're doing one thing and saying another.
And provincial debt, again, rising. But the finance minister has said that our taxes will remain low. Now, is this something that's sustainable?
No, absolutely not. There's only three ways that you can address the deficit. You either have to raise taxes, cut spending, or grow out from underneath it. Growing out from underneath it isn't one that most people would think about. But if I told you that I had, say, $500,000 in debt and I'm earning $50,000 a year, you'd worry for me. But if I told you I had $500,000 in debt and I earn $5 million a year, you wouldn't be nearly as worried. So you can grow your way out from that debt. But outside of that, you do have to increase revenues and you do have to cut spending. I know that they don't want to increase taxes, but really the conversation that we don't seem to want to have in Alberta is, should we introduce a sales tax? It doesn't have to be a large one like Ontario and Quebec have, but even just something like 3% to 5% would be enough to create a revenue source that would be stable and not this boom and bust that we're used to in Alberta. You could offer tax cuts elsewhere to offset it, or you could even offer ways to help low-income Albertans who would suffer under that provincial sales tax in the form of rebates similar to what the federal government has. But there are revenue sources out there other than just non-renewable resource revenue. In terms of cuts, the minister made comment about how they found efficiencies over the last 5 years or so. That's fantastic, but at some point those efficiencies run out. You are going to have difficult spending decisions and cuts that are going to have to be made. You can't just rely on growth, and growth in Alberta over the next few years in their forecast is not going to be large enough to make this problem go away.
All right, it will be interesting to watch this going forward. Economics professor with Concordia University, Moshe, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.